What is it?
Hey everyone, this is Key. It is Wednesday. You are listening to 97.5 FM KDEE. I am Agent Key, and we are selling Sacramento. Today's show, we have quite a bit of information. It's a little bit, and just remember that Selling Sacramento is always brought to you by Matthews and Company Realty Group, where I, Agent Key, am the broker and owner with almost 20 years in real estate. Go to my website at agentkee.com. Schedule a free consultation if you are considering buying just selling Agent Key on your favorite platform and join the conversation. Let us know you're there by tapping in and joining the conversation, saying hello, and ask a question or just join in the conversation. If you're listening on the radio, we'll be taking a couple of breaks, but if you're listening during the break, we'll continue the conversation. And I want to jump right in and on this week that I think you need to be aware of. This first piece of information is just a little concerning, but I think you need to know about it. It's not necessarily real estate news, but it ties into real estate indirectly. And what am I talking about? In Los Angeles, there were protests and anger and tears over an LA City Council meeting over leaked racist recordings. And some of you may have heard this already, but I know that there are quite a few people that may not have. And this is when I say it's indirectly tied to real estate, because these are people who are in leadership decisions who make decisions that affect and impact us and our communities. And so I think it's important to bring attention to this because of the principle behind it. So I'm just going to read just straight from the LA time has stepped down. So I'm just going to read this. Politicians, religious leaders, activists, and everyday Angelenos directed their fury at the Los Angeles City Council on Tuesday, telling elected leaders about the rage and sadness they felt over a recording in which Council member Neri Martinez is heard making racist remarks and denigrating colleagues. Martinez was not in the room, announcing shortly before the meeting that she was taking a leave of absence. She stepped down as council president a day earlier. Hours later, President Biden took the extraordinary step. Now, when the president of the entire country feels it's important to step in over a local city council situation, it must be pretty important, which is another reason. The fact that he said something solidifies my reason for bringing it up to you. So, through his press secretary, he made a statement saying that he thinks all three politicians who took part in the recorded conversation, those three people were Martinez and council members Gil Cedillo and Kevin De Leon, that they all three should resign. In the packed council chamber, a boisterous crowd echoed that same view, with some calling for the meeting to be canceled unless all three stepped down. The three can be heard talking to a high-level county labor leader on the recording, whose contents were first reported Sunday by the Times. After nearly an hour of chanting and shouting, the room fell silent as Councilmember Mike Bonin and that is who the comments were directed towards, gave a tearful response to the recording in which Martinez made racist remarks about his young son, who is Black. Martinez said on the recording that Bonin handled his young son as though he were an accessory, and said of the child, she said in Spanish, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this properly, pariche changuito, or he's like a monkey. And so he said, I take a lot of hits and I know I practically invite a bunch of them, but my son, it makes my soul bleed, said Bonin, his voice choked with emotion. I know I can never really comprehend the weight of the daily relentless anti-Black racism my son is going to face. But man, I know the fire that you feel when someone tries to destroy Black boy joy. Man, it's a rage. Other council members responded to the fury by announcing a series of reform proposals. One would ask voters to expand the size of the council in 2024. Another would create a new committee to look at ways of limiting corruption. A third would ensure that the next redistricting process, the subject of the secret recording, is decided by an independent citizens panel, not the council. Now, I want to stop right there because that is the hinge. If you've ever heard the expression wag the dog, a lot of these decisions that get made during conversations like this. And we hear about it after the decisions are already made. By the time they're inviting a public opinion, by the time they invite people to stand up and ask for public comment, the decision has already been made, ladies and gentlemen. So voting season is back upon us in a very short while, in just a couple of weeks. And here you have a situation of a city council who were on a call with talking about the next redistricting process. And if you know what redistricting is, that is where all of the votes get decided. That's how how they draw the lines are how the votes get decided, who gets what. During this conversation, all three of these council members, including the person they were making the call to, allowed this conversation to occur. If you sit in it while it's going on, you are just as guilty as the party who's saying whatever it is, the disparaging remarks they're making. If you don't say it, if you don't condone it, that is your time to say something. Not after it comes out and you get caught, because now you just look like you're apologizing and you're sorry because you're caught. How many of these conversations are taking place where there are people who are sitting in these conversations, people in positions of leadership, where they're allowing this conversation to happen, and these same people are deciding things like redistricting. Council member Mitchell Farrell, serving as acting president, announced his support for the proposals, and he denounced what he called the casual racism, the abhorrent language, the dehumanizing racial reference to Bonin's son, and the denigration, I don't have my glasses on, the denigration of indigenous peoples and the familiar tropes against the LGBTQ individuals. O'Farrell, who is gay, said he had attended Bonin's wedding to his husband, Sean Arian. He described Bonin's family as an inspiration to him and his partner and the entire city. You deserve better. We deserve better. The people of LA deserved better. Martinez was recorded in October. Here's some background to the recording. Martinez was recorded in October 2021 at a meeting to discuss redistricting, the city's once-a-decade process of redrawing council district boundaries. During the conversation, Martinez mentioned Los Angeles County District Attorney George Gascon, saying, "F that guy, he's with the blacks." At one point in the recording, Martinez said Bonin's son had misbehaved at a parade and needed a beat down. This is a grown woman, president of the city council. At another, De Leon appeared to compare Bonin's handling of his child to Martinez holding a Louis Vuitton bag. So he was participating with her. The leaked recordings quickly sparked outrage across LA with demands for the council members' resignations from Mayor Eric Garcetti, mayoral candidates Karen Bass and Rick Caruso, Senator Alex Padilla, and numerous members of the city council. Martinez has apologized, of course, repeatedly in recent days, while De Leon said he regretted his actions and fell short. Cedillo said he should have intervened during the conversation, but did not mock his colleagues or make racist statements. So he's trying to backpedal and get out of it. Cedillo and De Leon started out Tuesday's meetings by sitting in their chairs, but they immediately became the subject of angry chants from the crowd and eventually left the room. Their seats are poisonous. The seat of Neri is poisonous. Pastor Thembekila Crystal Coleman addressed the council. And Assembly member Isaac Bryan told the council that, like Bonin's son, he was adopted by a white family and is Black. He said the city cannot move forward without the 3 resignations. He said, "Trust me, there will be healing, because everybody in this room and everybody in the city wants the healing, but we can't have it without accountability." And in the audience, people wore black t-shirts with white text that read, "I'm with the blacks." Before the meeting began, the crowd chanted "Fuera." I'm sure I'm not saying this correctly. Fuera means out in Spanish, using the names of Cedillo, De Leon, and Martinez. So the story goes on, but I think it's important to point out this story. And it's important that there's a lesson in the story. Because as we talk about making improvements in areas of real estate and home ownership and equity and gentrification, we have to acknowledge the elephants in the room when we hear them and when we see them. It doesn't matter what ethnicity, what culture you are. When you're in a room and there is a conversation being held and someone is being disparaged, you don't have the luxury of sitting there and not saying anything. Not if you're going to be that same person to complain that things are unfair and unequal. Not if you're going to be that person in a position of authority who vows and pledges, takes a pledge to represent everyone equally and lawfully. You cannot allow these types of conversations to go on in your presence. See something, hear something, say something. I don't enjoy starting the show off on that, in this tone, but it is definitely necessary to have these kinds of conversations. We can no longer just let the elephant sit in the room. If we're really trying to make real improvement, it's time to actually start saying something about it. This is where the quiet racism and discrimination happens, where we can't see it. This is that intent, that what you feel. that you're saying it's incredibly hard to prove when someone is being racist. And sadly, the only way oftentimes to prove it is after they've been violated, and then there's evidence of it. Whether you have to bring in the white family and take down the black pictures and have the appraisal done again with the white pictures there and the white family answering the door and getting the results of that appraisal and then comparing the two. Or whether you have to have, whether it's somebody that's a crowd of people standing around a street corner, recording with their cameras, recording a vicious and brutal killing of a black man. It shouldn't have to take all of that. Something is happening before it gets to that. The person who has hatred in their heart or resentment of another person, they're having conversations with you. They are showing you who they are in advance. And if you are in the room with them, you need to say something. You need to let them know. I had a client tell me that she didn't want Asian people buying her home, not buying it, renting her home. And for me, just to make sure that she didn't care who ran, just not Asians, because of, and at that point, I wasn't even hearing what she said. So I don't remember. I just know that I immediately told her, I'm going to act like you didn't say that because that's illegal. I don't have control over that. I don't care if they're red, yellow, brown, black, or white. If they got good credit and they pass the, if they can prove, if they fill out the application and it pops up, they've paid their fees, their credit meets the minimum qualification, and they've got the funding to show that they're working, they're a qualified candidate. So all that other stuff that you're saying, I didn't hear that, or else I'm not the right person for you to rent this home through. All money ain't good money. Maybe we need to start there. Maybe the people that are so desperate to make money or be accepted or be liked are the ones that are allowing these kinds of conversations to happen. Maybe you need to check yourself if you are that person allowing these conversations to happen. If you've got your career or your life or who you think you are invested and wrapped around somebody else's finger, you may want to take a second look at your own ethics and morals and principles. I don't mean to go in like that, but I guess I just did, and it's too late. Y'all know when I say you, I don't mean you. But if I stepped on your toes, it's all in love. We are going to take a break. You're listening to 97.5 FM KDEE. I am Agent Key, and we'll be right back. Hello, Matt. How you doing, sir? Miss Tiffany, I know it was awful. It was awful. And not saying anything. Yeah, that the conversation actually took place a year ago. And we're just now getting wind of it. So just imagine, it was secretly recorded. Imagine if it had not been recorded. And with the elections coming up, somebody released that. They timed that release of that information, right? Miss Nikki, hey. Miss Tiffany. Thank you, ladies. Hey, how are you? How are you? Truth. Yes. Thank you all for tuning in. And I didn't want to have to start the show off with that information, but I thought it was important because elections are coming up. And oftentimes we think that our vote doesn't matter. If I don't vote, then what is one vote? Well, you see, on a local level, one vote can mean a lot. And if you and your friend and if everybody knows the character of these individuals. And it's not just about the character in a bad way. You want to assess people based on the things that they do well as well also. But we need to know who these people are. I think that's another big point in this story, knowing who these people are. The fact that the president chimed in, you're welcome. The fact that the president chimed in on this story, on this local LA story, it says something, right? Absolutely. It says something. So, and I'm thinking about, there have been a lot of backdoor conversations that haven't been released or secretly recorded, or maybe they have been secretly recorded and they have been released. I need to calm down. I'm a little passionate. Thank you. I was going to say another word. I like that word. I'm a little passionate about that. People who are in leadership positions and who don't love all people, that chafes my hide. And I know I might be being all true. Wi-Fi. Let me see if I can change the Wi-Fi. Mobile hotspot. Let me see if I could put the mobile hotspot on so I don't lose y'all. Hang in there with me, y'all. If it goes out, I don't know what that's all about. When we talk about important topics, it gets crazy. Hey, everyone. We're back. You're listening to 97.5 FM KDEE. I am Agent Key. We are Selling Sacramento. And I'm going to switch the conversation, switch gears, switch the tone. It just got a little bit, I'm a little passionate about leadership and people who are in leadership positions, and that if you are in a leadership position, you should have a love for everybody. If you are in a leadership position, and nobody's perfect, but when it rises up in your heart that you have an ought with somebody, you got to deal with that thing. Don't just push it down, because if you push it down, it's going to pop back up somewhere in your leadership role. It's going to show up. So deal with it. Deal with it. Today's show, we are talking about the market update, credit scores, and student loan forgiveness. And so let's just jump right into credit scores, okay? You all know that I am a fan of Jeff Sipes and Blue Water Credit. And hey to everybody watching on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. Y'all all can't see each other, but I can see you. So thank you for tuning in. So Blue Water Credit came out with 10 tips to improve your credit scores. Go to bluewatercredit.com. That is where I send all of my clients for credit restoration services, credit consultation, and they will get you in order, in line to get you on track for a mortgage, getting your credit in shape for a mortgage, because there are different credit companies out there that might clear your credit, clean your credit, but they might wipe it smooth on clean and remove some things that you need in order to qualify for a loan. So go to Blue Water Credit, let them know that Agent Key sent you, and they will take very good care of you. 10 tips to improve your scores. Number 1, keep your credit card balances 1 to 10%, between 1 and 10% of the limits. So I know that traditionally we've heard to keep it no more than 30%, right? And so now that has changed, and we want to keep it even lower. I'm preaching to the choir. And as I'm saying this to you all, I'm thinking about the 2 credit cards that I have. And I have to say that within the month, they probably do exceed it, but I pay them off before the next month comes. So I need to do a better job at keeping my credit balances 1 to 10% of the limits. Yeah. So number 2, only apply for new credit when necessary. That's going to be a hard one for a lot of people, because I know there are some people that actually apply for new credit to pay off another credit card. I've even seen and received offers for other loans to pay down certain credit amounts, and I ignore them. And my thought process is I need to manage the two that I have very well. And I'm not interested in gaining any more credit, because for every credit card you have, whether you spend it to the max or not, that's being looked at as potential debt you can accrue. If you've got a $10,000 credit card with a $10,000 credit card limit, $20,000 credit card limit, you could blow that at any moment. So you really want to be careful to only have the credit card that you need. And you'll know how much credit you need if you have a budget in place. Yes. So the number three tip, bring any past due accounts current. So remember, these are 10 tips to improve your credit scores. Bringing any past due accounts current, I'm thinking about when you get some extra money, those moments. Maybe you came into some money through an inheritance, or in a few months, there's going to be tax refund checks, but there also is a state check that's being issued, right? So some of you are going to get that check from the governor. Any additional money that you have, once you create a budget and you figure out where all that latte money is, that becomes extra money that you can throw at past due accounts to bring them current. Number 4, do not close your accounts with long payment history. And I know that some people often think that they just want to get it all closed and all down and all off. This goes back to my point earlier about how Blue Water Credit specifically looks to restore and prepare your credit for a mortgage. Mortgage lenders need to see revolving credit history, payment history. They need to see your habit of maintaining your lines of credit. And so if you've got an account with a long payment history, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and you've paid that thing on time, or even if you've had some blips, but maybe for the past 7, 8, 9 months, you've been paying it on time. Within a few more months, that will be a whole year of on-time payments. You want that to remain on your credit because it shows that you have good payment history and it's improving your credit score numbers. Next, we have open a secured credit card with your bank, or consider this option. If you go to the Blue Water Credit site and download this document, it actually, when you click on it, it takes you to a website called creditbuildercard.com/bluewater. creditbuildercard.com/bluewater. It's a safe and secure card. It reports to all 3 bureaus, and there's no credit check. And so with this, it's more of a savings account type card where you're putting in your money, but it's building your credit and it's reporting to the bureaus. And I believe that if you cancel out of it, you get that money back. But it is a way to build your credit with your own money that also reports to the bureaus, that improves your credit scores. Be added to someone else's account as an authorized user on their credit cards, someone who has a low balance and no missed payments. That's like the easiest and fastest way if you're in a transaction, if you're trying to buy property, and one of the persons, a co-borrower, or even the main borrower, needs to improve their credit. Excuse me. If you are added to someone else's credit card and they have great credit and they've got a low balance on that card, guess what? It improves your credit score. The challenge is going to be getting them to add you to their credit card. So if you are in good standing with someone with good credit, and I've seen it happen. It's not, it just depends on how you sell yourself to them. And so tip number 7, settle your collections for deletion. I'm thinking about a client that I have been working with, and this happened a couple months ago. She had a consultation with Blue Water Credit. Blue Water Credit gives a free, I think 15-minute consultation. She had that consultation with them, and they gave her an outline of, here's what we can do, here's what your options are. And they told her specifically about a couple of accounts, what they would do to help the accounts go away and to bring them down. And they've done this for years, you guys, years, over 20 years, I'm guessing Jeff has been doing this and his staff. And I say that because when you've done something over and over again for years and years and years, you learn what's right, what works, and what doesn't work. And then when you work with hundreds and hundreds of people, you see what works. You become very familiar with a lot of these companies because they're the same companies. They're seeing these same companies over and over again that you and I are dealing with on our credit reports. So they know what to expect. They know how to set you up for success. Said all that to say, they gave her some specifics on what an outcome would be if they worked with a particular vendor on her credit report. So she got off the phone and thought she might take it upon herself. Oh, well, just had the consultation for free. I could do it myself. I could just go do it myself. Long story short, she contacted the vendor. The vendor was happy to hear from her. Oh, we haven't heard from you in years. You got something for us? Yeah, I want to settle this debt. I'm just going to use a rounded number. Let's say it was $2,000. So she texted me or emailed me. I think we were talking via text because I was asking her how the consultation went. And she said, yeah, I settled that debt with that vendor for $1,800. No, I'll go a little lower. Let's say she said $1,400. So it was a $2,000 debt. She said she settled it for where she only had to pay them $1,400. Oh, wow. So while she's talking to me, while we're texting, I'm getting an email from the rep at Blue Water that she talked to. And the rep was like, oh, yeah, met with her, blah, 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 blah. Here's what we told her. So, we armed her with options. We'll just wait to hear back from her and let you know. So I tell her, wait, I'm texting her right now. And she said she did this with that particular vendor. And the response was swift. She said, okay, we could have settled that with her paying only 15% of that. They should have dismissed like 80-something% of that debt. And she told me, ask her, did she get a letter from them saying that they were going to forgive the debt once she paid, that they were going to remove it from her credit report? So I asked her, I texted her, and she said, no. I said, did you make the payment already? She said, yes. So they got her money. She paid more than she should have. And she didn't get a letter of confirmation from them stating that they were going to even remove it from her credit report. What am I saying? Leave it to the experts. For the money that she could have saved, she could have just paid it was less than that. It was probably 2-3 times less than the money that she could have saved that she would have been paying Blue Water Credit, like a couple $100 to do that. And she could have saved $600 more in her pocket. Settle your debt collections for deletion. That was my reason for bringing that up. When you settle a debt collection, you need to make sure that you get a notice from them in advance before you pay any money that they agree to remove it from your credit report. Okay? Which number are we on? 8. Check your credit report on a regular basis for ID theft or errors at annualcreditreport.com. So you can go straight to annualcreditreport.com, check your credit report, and put a reminder in your calendar, every couple months, every other month, for it to just pop up and give you an alert to check your credit report. I actually subscribe to probably 3 or 4 different credit bureau services, and they send me alerts. I get little text messages or things pop up on my phone to let me know if my email address or my information is showing up on what they call the dark web. So, you need to know when that stuff is happening so that you can immediately address it, so it doesn't snowball into something that's going to impact you. And then when you get ready to pull the trigger and you need your credit, it will be good to go versus you having to deal with this whole tumultuous situation. So number 9, the same as you can ask someone to add you to their credit card so that your credit gets improved, you want to make sure the reverse happens as well. Remove yourself as an authorized user from any credit cards with recent missed payments. So if you are on someone's card as an authorized user, check with them, get a copy of the statement, or if you know or you suspect that things are not going financially well, and make sure you remove yourself from that person's card as an authorized user, because it is showing up on your credit report as well. And then number 10, set up a risk-free consultation with Blue Water Credit with my friends Jeff Sipes and his gang at Blue Water Credit. The number is 916-315-9190. 916-315-9190, or you can contact them on their website at bluewatercredit.com. And I want you to know, Blue Water Credit is not paying me to say this. I am sharing this information with you all because having your credit in a good place is the first step towards home ownership and the first step towards getting into a home without having any issues, getting the best rate, getting the best financing, all of those things, so that you can have your pick. And it is possible to heal and clean your credit if you start today. You first have to take the first step and find out what's on there. Don't be afraid of having this free, risk-free consultation. Risk-free. Just call them so that you can find out exactly what's going on, so that you can get yourself positioned, which is a really great transition into what I want to talk about next, which is the market, where the market is headed, why it's important that you position yourself right now. Not only are there some great opportunities for first-time home buyers, but we know that, yes, the rates are going up, but prices are coming down. Before I get into the market prices, I want to share something with you guys that a story that I ran across, and I thought it was not necessarily hysterical, but more like, here we go again. Here we go again. So Fox 11 Los Angeles News has an article out where the story says these are the worst California cities for retirees. A study was done. So the study was done from Go Banking Rates, and they analyzed the median listing price for a home and the average expenditures for someone 65 and older, identifying which of California's cheapest places to live also offer a similar kind of lifestyle to the more expensive options that one might consider first. So I'm going to read it the way the article talks about it, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. So they compared Los Angeles to San Bernardino. No surprises here. They say the second largest city in the U.S. is among the most expensive, LA, right? The median home price in LA is $1 million, with the cost of living for ages 65 and older household at a staggering $117,927.14. Woo! Neighboring San Bernardino, however, offers many of the same benefits without it costing an arm and a leg. The survey reports that the median home price in San Bernardino is $463,783. That's more than half of Los Angeles, right? And the average senior spends less than $44,000 a year living in San Bernardino. So I don't know what's going on in San Bernardino, but if I'm having to choose between the two lifestyles, I would definitely choose San Bernardino over LA, right? Now they compared Oakland to Modesto. Median sales price in Oakland, not far off from LA, $955,000. And an average cost of living for seniors at another whopping $118,000. Cost of living, this is a year, this is annual, y'all. The study suggests that in the inland city of Modesto, the median price of a home is $450,000. That's less than half. And the average cost of living for seniors in Modesto is $77,000, approximately $77,000. So that's pretty good. Oakland to Modesto. Now they say they're comparing lifestyles, but I'm not seeing an Oakland lifestyle in Modesto. I could be wrong, but when I think about Modesto, I don't think about Oakland. I was just in Oakland last weekend at Yoshi's, staying at the Harbor Inn off the pier, off of what's the Jack London Square, whatever the hotel is. It was beautiful. I don't think they have anything like that in Modesto. Maybe they do, and I'm just not aware. I must admit. So if any of you are watching online right now, and if you know of some goings on in Modesto that are comparable to Oakland, say something in the chat. Let me know. If there are any Modesto listeners that can hop onto social media, because y'all know we don't take calls no more because y'all get crazy when you call in here. But if you go to social media and type it in the chat and let us know if there's some stuff going on in Modesto that we don't know about that's comparable to Oakland, definitely want to know about it. Definitely want to know about it. So next they compared, and here I'm just going to go down to the biggie because I'm running out of time and I want to talk about market stats. They compared Anaheim to Las Vegas. Is there a comparison there? I mean, the lifestyle, again.
Not really.
Not really?
No.
Dusty said not really. So, I mean, they've got shows and things, and there's Disneyland, right? And then Las Vegas, there's
everything.
Yeah. So Anaheim's cost of living, annual expenditure for seniors is over $100,000. Median sales price is $877. In comparison to Las Vegas, the median home price is half that of Anaheim, and expenditures are under $75,000. That's a $25,000 savings. Now, drum roll. They've compared San Francisco to Sacramento. Exactly. So they're saying though home to the Golden Gate Bridge, spending one's golden years in the city by the bay will break the bank. Here, the median home price is a staggering $1.5 million, with the average senior spending over $164,000 a year for necessities. In the state capital, just a ways up north, Sacramento's median home price is about a quarter of San Francisco's at 503,651. They actually got that very close to being right as of last month. Wait, what month are we in? October, September, as of August. Okay. So they're saying the average senior here in Sacramento spends $81,000, more than half of what seniors spend in San Francisco. So if you Google this article, you can read the remaining cities that they compare in California, the lifestyles. If you are a retiree or soon to be retiree and you love California and you're not yet ready to chuck it, but the cost of living is getting on your nerves and beyond that, it's breaking your bank, go and Google this article. These are the worst California cities for retirees. The article is a little misleading because they should let you know that they're comparing and they're giving you some alternatives. So, for these major cities, there's an alternative for Los Angeles. There's an alternative to Oakland, Modesto, Santa Ana. They're trying to send you to Henderson, Nevada. Anaheim, they're sending you to Las Vegas. San Francisco, they're sending you to Sacramento. We don't want you though. I shouldn't say that. Riverside, they're sending you to Fresno. Yeah, I know that Fresno's doing a lot of new construction too. Right as soon as you get into Fresno, they're just building like crazy. If you're in San Jose, they're sending you to Stockton. If you're in Long Beach, they're sending you all the way to Corpus Christi, Texas. Woo! If you're in San Diego, they're sending you to Jacksonville, Florida. Those are the comparison cities, ladies and gentlemen. So, wow. We're going to take a break. The time is just flying by. Do I have time to take a break? We're going to do a quick break. And we come back. We're going to wrap it up with some stats. Hopefully. You're listening to 97.5 FM KDEE. I am Agent Key, and we'll be right back. Okay. Let's see here. All right. Hey, y'all. Thank you for hanging on in there, y'all. Let's see. Where are my... There it is. We're going to talk about some market updates and what's happening. I was hoping I would get the new stats from Tony at Sacramento Association of Realtors before the show, but I don't see an email from him yet, so we might have to wait for next week for those. Let's see. Oh, did I talk? Oh my gosh, I didn't talk about the student loan forgiveness information.
I'm going to buy you an extra minute now.
Okay.
I don't know what you do with that minute, but I'm going to buy you an extra minute.
All right. I'm going to use it to share this information about the student loan forgiveness program process. And then prayerfully, Tony will have sent something within the next couple of minutes. All right. Biden. Oh, why?
Oakland.
What'd she say?
Oakland.
Oh, comparing. What was the comparison for Oakland?
It was more like, we don't want you.
Oh. Yeah, that's Modesto. Was that the comparison? Oakland and Modesto?
Yes. Yes, it was. It was.
That makes me want to go take a drive to Modesto and see what's going on down there. I wonder if that was just a random. Oh, that was a quick one. Okay, thank you.
Five, two, go.
Hey everyone, we're back, and I just realized I did not give the information about the Biden Student Loan Relief Program and what to know about the application process for that. So I definitely want to share that before we go, because I know a lot of people are looking for that information. And so let's run through what the process is. So this information is from NPR News. When is the application coming? So the Biden administration has said repeatedly that its debt relief application would be available in early October. We are in early October. And in a call with reporters, the senior administration officials dropped the early but promised that they would make the form available in October. So they've got a couple more weeks to still make that form available. They said they're working hard to make sure the form can handle the traffic that they anticipate. It says in a legal filing on Friday, the department said it will not discharge any student loan debt under the debt relief plan prior to October 23rd, 2022. So this is an update. The application will be available through December 31st, 2023. So once the application is up, which they anticipated being up before the month of October is over, you will have through December 31st of next year to complete that application. Where will the application be posted? Officials said the application will be housed at a .gov website and published in both English and Spanish. What the application will ask for. The application, which officials shared with reporters on Tuesday, is quite simple. It requires only basic information, including name, birth date, social security number, phone number, and an email address. That is pretty basic. Borrowers will not need to know what's known as an FSA, your FSA ID, to log into the application, nor will you need to upload any documents, including tax records. So you won't need any of that. You will only need your name, birth date, social security number, phone number, and an email address. Will borrowers need to prove that they meet the plan's income requirements? Instead of having to provide documents that verify that you as an individual earned less than $125,000 in 2020 or 2021, or as a couple less than $250,000, the application simply asks borrowers to check a box to certify under penalty of perjury under the laws of the United States of America that all of the information provided on the form is true and correct. A senior administrative official told reporters that the U.S. Department of Education will closely match the information that applicants provide with loan and income information that it already has on file. And in case of discrepancies, the department will work with borrowers to secure additional documentation. So don't be afraid to get in there and just say what you know. The official said roughly 95% of borrowers should meet those income thresholds, though it's not clear how many the department will flag for additional verification. So be prepared that you might be asked to provide additional information. How long will it take the department to process each application? A matter of weeks, one senior administrative official said. A matter of weeks. Timing matters because the department wants to discharge as many debts as possible before student loan payments resume in January. So in September, NPR was told that by January 1, when loan payments resume, they will have to have it all set up so that between October and between loan restarts, not only is the information going to be needed by all borrowers, but they're going to have to be done with the process. They're going to be, okay, so that would probably explain why it's taking so long to get that application up, because they're more than likely trying to put all of the people in place as well as the mechanisms to handle the influx of borrowers who are going to be submitting applications. So NPR reports that on Tuesday's call with reporters, a senior administration official backed up Cardona's timeline, saying the department plans to quickly process applications in November and December to discharge debts and limit borrower confusion come January. Wow. That's going to be quite a bit of work getting all of that done before January. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. What to know about the application for Biden's student loan forgiveness. There are so many people in need of student loan forgiveness, especially when you are preparing to purchase a home. That's one of the obstacles that we see a lot, is how to deal with that student loan debt. And it is about 1:54. I am almost out of time. Oh, it is 1:55. Well, my computer, well, it's 1:55 now. I was gonna say, my computer says it's 1:54. So I have about 60 seconds left. And instead of trying to rattle through market news that I don't have the full information on, you will have to follow Selling Sacramento on Facebook and my agent page, Agent Key, on Facebook, because I will more than likely post the market update on my Facebook page. I'm sure it'll be coming over at some point today. But I wanted to make sure that y'all all knew where to get that information. I will be out next week, and sitting in for me will be Daniel Robertson and Keelan Johnson. I'll be nearby, though. I'll just be in sunny Southern California at the California Association of Real Estate Brokers conference for the week. And they will be sitting in and filling in for me, but I will be back the week after. So I'll make sure that they talk about market updates as well. And just remember, if you are doing what you were created to do, I will see you at the top. Bye, y'all.
Almost forgot, eh?
Well, I was thinking, was there something else I needed to say?
Hey, I was just listening to you. I think you would be good like reading children's books.
Reading children's books?
Mm-hmm. That's what I heard.
All of the inflections.
That.
Miss Nikki, that is right. That is great. That's going to be a great opportunity. All right, you all. I need to go grab something to eat. Of course, I'm always famished by this time, but I'll see y'all. Well, I was going to say I'll see you next week, but I won't, because Keelan and Daniel will be here. But I'll see y'all the week after. Have an amazing week, everybody. Love you. Bye.